busy, but it's something I've watched growing up. I've watched my friends go through, and I'm fortunate to be here because there's plenty of people who I'm sure would love to be here and have the opportunity. So I'm blessed to be able to be here, and it's fun. No, well, I mean, I guess it's all unusual because I've not ever done it before.
Tackle Joe Dahl, table 2. Washington State tackle Joe Dahl, table 2.
Yeah. I'd say one. I mean, the cons is just harder to get low. I mean, football's a game of leverage, and you're gonna have to, bend more to get lower. Have some more flexibility. It's not something I think I've struggled with mightily. And then at the same time, generally you're gonna have longer limbs, so you can create more leverage, and guys can't get to your chest, get to your body. So, it can be a good thing or a bad thing depending. But I don't think it's something that's, served me poorly in my career. I mean, of course, I would want to be a left tackle, but at the end of the day, I just want to play football and I compete. So if a team asked me to play another position, absolutely I would. Because I want to be an asset to whatever team I go to. Last time I measured Ohio State, I was like 6'7" and 6/10, so I don't know what happened. Yeah, I've been on our feet a lot, up walking around, so maybe I compressed my spine a little bit or something. I don't know.
Coaches and GMs this week have been said a lot how difficult it is to transition from college to NFL specifically for offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Because of the way you play in college, techniques and stuff. How do you feel about that transition? What do you think is going to be the hardest part? How capable are you of doing that to be able to play well right away?
Yeah, I've heard from some guys I played with in college who have moved on to the next level and had success. That obviously the style of play is a lot different, but also at the same time it's still football. I think the biggest challenge is probably going to be, though I did play some really good players in college, I'm going to see the best players I'm ever going to see every single week. So there's no room for error. You can't have an off game or a couple bad plays, because as an offensive lineman, a couple bad plays means a bad game. So you got to be consistent, and playing against high-level players who can execute at a high caliber is going to be challenging.
Who was the best you played against? If you're going to say most of it, the second,
Yeah, I would either say it was Joey or Khalil Mack my sophomore year.
What did it feel like getting most of the practice every day, and how much did that aid your development?
I mean, that can't be understated. Getting to play against a guy like him and a guy like Noah Spence for 2 years, and even Adolphus Washington, Michael Bennett, like John Simon, John Hankins. I got to play against a lot of really good guys, more than I ever would have saw reps in a game against somebody like that. So Joey's an incredible player. He's really complete, plays the run really well, and he's strong. He's quick off the ball. He's good with his hands. He's just such a complete player, at least from my perspective. So if you do something wrong, he's going to figure out what it is and expose you. So going back to the executing at a high level and being consistent, it helped me with that, and he made me a lot better player. I mean, Noah's definitely different from Joey. I mean, obviously they're both great pass rushers, but I think Noah is just pure. Like, he can run for days. Even in team runs, when you're back in school, it was just easy for him. He'd run with the linebackers and he'd be beating them. So he's just really quick off the ball, and he's got a really high motor. And I'm just happy to see that he was able to kind of turn things around, because I know he was going through some dark times. And I like him as a person. I've always gotten along with him. So it's cool to see. It's cool to see a guy that had every reason to fail, but didn't use one of them as an excuse.
So you say you talked to some guys, former teammates. Did you talk to Jack Meador? What did he tell you about making the transition to the NFL?
I mean, it's been pretty consistent with all of them, and Jack is a guy who he helped me a lot in my time in college, and he's a guy I do keep in touch with. And it's the same thing. It's just the level of competition is consistently going to be the best you're ever going to see. Like I said, in college, yeah, you're going to see some good players, of course, but at the next level, at the NFL, it's completely different because every week is going to be, a high level player.
Taylor, the number of you Ohio State athletes is pretty astounding. What does it say about your program?
I think one, you got to recruit really well. Guys have to be blessed with some ability, but that's just the start. You got to be able to develop players and to develop a culture that doesn't allow mediocrity. We demand excellence. We have a tradition of excellence and a culture of it, and that's kind of what I think all these players getting invited is a testament to. So when you have really good players who are competing against each other and want to get better every day, that's kind of one of the products I'd say you get.
Elliott, just what was it like to block for him, and what do you think you can bring to a team next level?
LSU tackle Gerald Hawkins.
Zeke's definitely one of my favorite guys. I don't know if I know some of the local guys who've covered Ohio State have seen him. He's just a goofy guy, a ton of personality. I think that's kind of different for the running back position from other guys I've seen. But he was just fun to block for because I would say the number one thing is regardless of what he was doing on a play, he was going to go full speed. I've said it a bunch of times before. Some of my favorite plays of his are him blocking people or cutting people, because he's going a million miles an hour, and whoever gets in front of him is going to get hit, and he loves it. And he always talks about, I wish I was a lineman with you guys and stuff like that. So he's kind of got that mentality and that attitude, and you appreciate a guy who kind of gives you some love as an offensive lineman. Oh, it's been awesome. I know going into this combine draft process, and he was the number one guy I wanted to work with, and I'm fortunate to be able to do that because he himself was a really, really good player. Barring injury, who knows what he could have done with his career. And it's cool to have that Ohio State connection. We wore the same number at Ohio State. Both were the Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year. And to have somebody like that want to help me achieve my goals and want me to be successful has been amazing. And I think he's the authority on offensive line. He knows a lot about the position, and I think he's going to help me become a better player without a doubt.